Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Grace. Today I am making one of my favorite bread recipes, cherry chocolate chip banana bread. This is definitely one of my son's favorite recipes for me to make. And it's super simple, super easy. It's very moist, delicious bread, perfect for breakfast or taking along with your lunch. It's great for gatherings, taking it to church, those kinds of things. So I have the recipe, y'all. It's going to be listed below. And then I have a picture of it I will share also here now. So let's jump in. So I am definitely what I call a country baker. Been baking for about 20 years. So my recipe is more to the touch, and not an exact recipe. You can follow the exact recipe that I'm posting, but this is more of a feel, more of an experience kind of thing. My bananas I happen to have are, you want to use slightly overripe bananas, and that makes them soft, makes the moisture perfect. My bananas are a little bit on the small side, but that's okay. We were traveling, and so I wanted smaller bananas for the kids. We ended up not eating all of them. So I am probably going to use 3 to 4 of these bananas. Normally I would use 2 bigger bananas for my banana bread recipe. I have got my potato masher all ready to go. My daughter loves to help bake, but they are back in school now. So I am going to just make this while it's super easy. You can see the bananas a little bit overripe. It's perfectly fine. You're just gonna unpeel your bananas here. There is no mixer required for this recipe. I love that I can just mix it all together with a spoon. We're gonna just peel these guys, toss them in, and again, I am gonna eyeball this, the amount of banana. Normally 2 to 3 regular good-sized bananas. I think today I'm using 4 of these tiny ones. One more in there. Kind of depends how much banana you like to have in your banana bread. Now, you can do all sorts of things with your banana bread recipe. You could add walnuts or other kinds of nuts. You could add some extra seeds. Whatever you want. My daughter loves chocolate chip, and my son loves cherries. So that's what we put into ours. Alrighty here. So we're gonna give these a good little mash. This is usually one of my daughter's favorite jobs. Mash them up real nice. Some people like to pre-measure all their ingredients. I do not. I just grab it and go. Some people like to do separate bowls, like put all their liquid ingredients in one bowl and then their dry ingredients in the next bowl. I like to save on dishes, friends. I like ease and simplicity in my kitchen. Save myself some time and energy. All right, that's mashed up enough. So now we are going to continue to add some of our liquid ingredients into here. We're going to do some vanilla. Vanilla is key. So my recipe is about a teaspoon of vanilla. I personally love vanilla. Sometimes I sneak in a little bit extra for flavor. Usually that's when I'm doing cookies. Get that in there. The one thing I do separately, y'all, when I am baking, I always crack my eggs in a separate bowl. We usually get farm fresh eggs from friends of ours, and so you never know with farm fresh eggs. So I always make sure I crack them separately in a different container. One of our liquid ingredients is also going to be butter. I like to use salted sweet cream butter. We're going to use a half a cup. So I have a stick here that's half a cup. I'm going to go get that melting in the microwave. I'm going to get a container, a little bowl to crack my eggs in, and then we will continue on. All right, I'm going to scoot the bowl just a little bit. We got my container for my eggs. I'm going to use 2 eggs for this banana bread recipe. Now you can also make this into muffins. if your kids are really into muffins. So that egg looks a little bit good. So I'm gonna point this out to y'all. These eggs right here are actually store-bought eggs. You can tell because the yolk is really pale yellow. When you get farm fresh eggs, it's like a bright, dark golden yellow. I usually prefer farm fresh eggs. We just happened to have run out, and I happened to have been in the store, and we were traveling, so ease and convenience. Get that one in there. No shells. We're perfect. We're gonna dump that one in there as well. We're gonna go grab that butter. It's melting just a little in the microwave. So my butter here is almost completely melted. I don't always melt it down this far. I just like to get it soft. It was definitely a really hard cold butter. While I'm waiting for that to cool down just a bit, this recipe calls for some yogurt. I use whatever yogurt I happen to have on hand. I normally do my grocery shopping at Aldi's, Fairway, try to cut costs on groceries. They have some great yogurt at Aldi's. I happen to have honey peach yogurt, so that's what I'm going to use today. Now the yogurt adds moisture. It's what helps make your banana bread turn out really moist and perfect when it comes out of the oven. So this recipe calls for a 1/3 cup of yogurt. So we're just gonna fill this up to a 1/3 cup. Another topping you could add to your banana bread is coconut flakes. My kids don't like coconut. I do, but they don't. So again, trying to get them to eat it. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump that in there. All right, the butter is cooled a little bit, so we're gonna dump that in there. I know a lot of people like to do dry ingredients first, but you know what? I like to do things my way, so there is no one way to baking. And the more baking you do, the more you learn little tricks of the trade, and the more you tweak things to your own preference and liking for yourself and your family. All right, that's mixed in nicely. So now we're gonna start adding some of our dry ingredients. I'm going to start with flour. And, woo, she's a little full in there. Now this recipe calls for 2 cups of flour. Let's see if I can do this without spilling. Go on in there. You can use a knife. I just use a finger. Guesstimate there. Brush off the top. There we go. I don't mind getting a little messy when I bake. It's part of the fun. Now before I start mixing the flour in, I'm gonna add all my dry ingredients. We're gonna use, let's see, it's 1 1/4 cups of brown sugar. Let me know down below what you like to add to your banana bread. I personally love to add walnuts. My kids are picky. They won't eat them. So this is just, I'm making the banana bread as a breakfast option for my kids. My daughter will eat bananas plain. My son does not like bananas. He will only eat them in banana bread. And he is got football going on right now. So he's definitely hungry in the mornings, trying to get that teenager to eat some food before he heads off. So that's a little less than a cup. And then I'm gonna refill here for another 1/4 cup. We're gonna go ahead and put that in there. Sprinkler all around. Since it was a little less than a cup, I'm gonna get a little closer to a 1/2 cup. And you're like, why are you not packing this down? Well, we have another secret ingredient to this recipe that we'll get to here in a minute that also adds moisture and just makes the texture of your banana bread awesome. And so it's got extra sweetness to it. And so I'm gonna not pack down that brown sugar because I don't need extra sugar in here. All right, we need, pop this open, a pinch of salt. Now, I'm just gonna kind of pour it into my finger here. a pinch. I kind of do a little bit more than a pinch, honestly. It's maybe 2 pinches worth. We have to do 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. That teaspoon out here. Sprinkler around. Oh yeah. Put the caps back on. I don't know about you all, when you are baking with your kids, my daughter loses the caps to everything. Bless her sweet little soul. Perk of baking by myself. Everything gets put back where it came from with the lids on. We're doing a pinch of nutmeg here. Adds a little zest to your flavor. Gotta remember the baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Let's see if I can pop this here. Close enough. All right. I think we have everything. Taking a quick look. It looks like it. All right, here's the secret ingredient I was talking to y'all about. It is a pudding box. Now, you can use really any kind of flavor of pudding. This one happens to be vanilla. That's what I had on hand. You could use banana flavored. I literally will use whatever we've got on hand. Again, you're not really doing it for the flavor. You're doing it for what it adds to the texture of your banana bread. You can completely leave this out if you would like. I add this sometimes to my cookie dough mixes as well. Makes them a little extra soft. You're just gonna add the whole entire thing in there, which seems like a lot, but it does its magic. All right, so we have 2 ingredients left. That is the chocolate chips and the cherries. Before we get that far, I am gonna go ahead and just mix this all in. And this is a high moisture bread batter. Makes it super easy for stirring it all together. It smells amazing. I love fall. Now I make banana bread probably 3 or 4 times a year, once every season, but I swear there's just something about baking it in the fall makes it smell that much better. Your house smells amazing. All right, we're ready to add chocolate chips. Now, these are mini chocolate chips. It's only opened a little crack here. I think my daughter was making pancakes with them. Okay. You can add in however many chocolate chips you want. Now, my son's not a big chocolate person, and he's probably going to be the one that eats this more than my daughter. She would make it all chocolate. Mix that in good. I feel like that's pretty good. You want the chocolate to give you just a hint of chocolate. So now I have cherries. I usually get the name brand cherries. This happens to be Great Value brand. They apparently don't take their stems off. So I'm going to pause this real quick, take stems off, dice these up, and then we'll toss them into our batter also. All right. I used maybe a dozen of the cherries, diced them up real nice and small. Again, you don't want your chocolate chips and your cherries and your walnuts to overwhelm the natural flavors of banana bread, the banana, the cinnamon, nutmeg, and the vanilla. So again, you just want it to kind of add hints of flavor. Get on in there. We're gonna mix this up real nice. You don't want to overmix. Let's see, is that gonna be enough cherries? I think so. Get them in there good. All right, it's looking good. So I'm gonna get this into my bread pan. Again, you could make it into muffins if you would like. And then I'm gonna preheat my oven to 400 degrees. I like to cook my breads a little bit slower. It just depends how much time you've got. I like to give them a little more natural, slower cooking time. And I will bake mine for probably about a half an hour, 35 minutes at 400 degrees. Every oven's a little bit different, so you just have to kind of keep an eye on it. Let's go get this into the bread pan. She is ready to go into the oven. and we're gonna check on it here in a little while. And then when it's all done, I'll pull it out, make a slice. You can see how moisturized, how delicate and amazing that this banana bread is going to be. The banana bread has been baking in the oven for about 15 minutes, so I was going to pull it out and show you what 15 minutes looks like. So if you give this a little shake, you can tell it's definitely not close to being done because the inside is still wiggly jiggly. So we're going to put her back in the oven. Again, I usually bake mine for about 30-35 minutes, so we'll check it again here in a little while. All right, I think she is about done. We're going to do the toothpick test just to be sure. So you take a toothpick, pull it in, pull it out. Oh no, so if you can see, if it'll focus there, there's still a little bit of batter dough on the toothpick, which means it's actually not done yet. Even though, oh, see, and if you press down, it's still soft. It's okay for the top of your bread to get a little bit brown and crunchy. It's kind of how it's supposed to happen. So we're going to pop her back in the oven for a few more minutes. She is done. I took a slice out, got some butter melting on it. It looks delicious. It is so moist, y'all. It kind of just came right apart as I put it on the plate. Perfect to use with a fork. I am super excited. Kids are going to love this. Hubby's going to love this. This is a must add to your fall baking list. We'll see y'all next time.